Let's try this again with a little more excitement. I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I really wanted to film this video. We have a variety of books. A few of these I've actually already read. Let's start with the boring ones. Let's start with the nonfiction, self-help, that kind of stuff, and then we'll dive into the fun things. So first we have Grit by Angela Duckworth. I did already finish this book, and it was a rollover from 2021. We have No Limits by, I believe, John C. Maxwell. Then we have Thinking for a Change, the Complete 101 collection. So this one's another John C. Maxwell book for sure. And this one in particular, he writes a lot of little shorter books that are kind of a synopsis of his bigger, longer books. And so I ended up buying one book that had them all combined together, and I'm very excited to read it because I think it might be fun to kind of read one of his collections like one a month or something like that, and just kind of like deal with it that way. Next we have How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People probably 3 years ago, and I really enjoyed it, so I'm just excited to read kind of like this updated version. We have Communication, Sex, and Money. I think that this one might be just like a fun one in general, and I think anybody can benefit from a communication book. We have Simply Rich by Rich Devos. This one is a memoir, and I love memoirs, so I'm very excited to read this. We have Daring Greatly by Brene Brown. I've heard amazing things about this book, and it's been on my bookshelf for a couple years now, so I figured I might as well finally read it. We have 360 Degree Leader by John C. Maxwell, 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart. This one is obviously a relationship book, and I started it last summer, but I never actually got into it. I think I only read the preface. We have Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin, and I'm just about done this one. It is amazing, 10 out of 10 recommend. And then the final self-help book is one that my boyfriend's currently reading, and that is Good Leaders Ask Great Questions by John C. Maxwell. So lots of John Maxwell in there. He is one of my favorite authors. I don't know what it is, but like I really like his writing. So yeah, let's jump into the fiction / more fun books that I'm more excited to read this upcoming year. First we have Broken People. This was a rollover from 2021, and at this point I have already finished it, and yeah, there is a review coming out shortly. We have The Rose Society. So this one is the Young Elites book 2, and I didn't realize that it was a series when I added this to the list. So I'm actually reading the first book in this series currently. We have A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This is the prequel to The Hunger Games, and I have already finished it. I'll talk about my thoughts at a later date. We have Bunny, and this one I have heard such mixed reviews about. I'm very excited because I think I know what it's about, but I'm not really quite sure. We also have Circe, which looked interesting. We have Ariadne, which looked interesting. Anything that is Greek mythology related, I'm probably guaranteed to love. So there's a few things like Galatia. I don't really know how to pronounce her name.
Galatea.
Okay. Galatea. Now that I know how to say it. We also have The Wives, which I found this at a secondhand bookstore after hearing some reviews about it. Unfortunately, I already know one of the twists is that there's an unreliable protagonist, but I love knowing kind of what the twist is and then seeing the lead up to it. So, I don't know. We'll see. The next one is Plain Bad Heroines. I am working on this book currently, and it is an interesting read so far. I think it's about a secret society. I don't know. It's very difficult so far, so we'll see how it goes. We also have Black Beauty, which is one of the classics that I plan on reading this year. I'm very excited about it. We also have the 22 Murders of Madison May. This one was just on my Libby app, and I saw it, and it had a bright yellow cover, and I was like, this looks fun. We also have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I have heard positive things and negative things about this book, and I'm just excited to finally read it so that I can give my opinion on it. We have Mexican Gothic, which I am so excited about. Oh my god. We have Dracula, which I will probably read in September, October time. Another classic. We have Chain Letter by, I believe, Christopher Pike. We have Remember Me by Christopher Pike. And Until the End. I think that one's also Christopher Pike, but I could be completely wrong. We also have The Ichabod by J.K. Rowling. The reason that this one's on the list is because I got it for Christmas and I'm very excited. We have 2 books that I've already read next on this list. We have This Little Art of Not Giving a Fuck and Everything is Fucked. And those are both by Mark Manson. We have A Dog's Purpose, which I love the movie. I cry every time I watch the movie, so I'm very excited. I've never cried at a book, so we'll see if this is the one. Next we have a trilogy. We have the Wake, Fade, Gone trilogy. This one I think will probably be really short read, so I'll probably do a reading vlog on this, but I'm very excited. The next one we have is another series, and this is the Aragon series. So we have Aragon, Eldest, Brisingar, and Inheritance. I read all but the very last chapter of the very last book when I was in high school because I didn't want it to end, and so I'm just going to start from the beginning. Next we have another trilogy that's also just part of a bigger series, which is Grey, Darker, and Freed, and this is the 50 Shades of Grey series from Christian's perspective. I think I've already read Darker, and then I saw Freed in stores, and then I realized I hadn't read Grey yet. So we're working on it. Next up, we have a duology, and this is A Deadly Education and The Last Graduate. I am about 100 pages into A Deadly Education, so we will see how that goes. I'm enjoying it so far. Next up, we have Unwind, and I have already read this book. It is phenomenal. Next, we have Ready Player 2. I have heard good things and I have heard terrible things about this book. Hopefully it's good. I loved Ready Player 1. Next, we have a reread, and this is The Testing by Joelle Carbonneau. I have the trilogy now, so I would just want to refresh before I jump back in, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to the other 2 books in the series this year, so I just put the first book on this list. The next up, we have Eye of the World, which is a chonker. I might end up having to do the audiobook for this one, but I'm very excited to read it. The Wheel of Time series fascinates me, and I see that it is on Prime, I think, Amazon Prime. So we will see. We have Children of Blood and Bone. This one was just on my Libby app. It looked interesting. I keep putting it on hold and not reading it, so I put it on here so that I could prioritize it. Next, we have City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. It's the first in the Mortal Instruments series. Yeah, and I'm excited to read it. I read the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th books in the series when I was in high school. Didn't realize that I had skipped over a book, so I figured I would stop and restart it later, and now it's later. So next we have Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. I have never read anything from this author, so I'm very excited. I do have a physical copy, so we will just be kind of jumping right in. Next up, we have Maze Runner, and I have tried to get into this book multiple times, so I'm just giving it one last shot, and then if I can't get into it, I'm just gonna DNF it. We also have The Iron King, which is a fairy series, and I'm very excited to read this one. It has so many books in it. But yeah, I'm gonna give the first book a shot, and if I don't like it, I'll just get rid of the copies that I own. And then we also have the entire Lord of the Rings series, including The Hobbit. So we have Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King, and The Hobbit. And I have read The Hobbit, and I've seen all the movies multiple times. I have a beautiful collection of the books, so I just think it's really unfair that I haven't read it yet. Next up, we have Unchosen. No idea what this is, so there's that. We also have Legally Blonde. I love the movie. I recently watched the second installment of the movie, and I didn't realize that it was a book until I was on my Libby app, and I was like, damn, okay. Next up, we have book 1 and book 2 in a series, in a duology, trilogy, I don't know. We have Aurora's Coven and Aurora's Betrayal. No idea what it's really about. It was on my Libby app. It looked interesting. And then finally, we have Children of Virtue and Vengeance. And again, was on my Libby app. No idea what it actually is. That being said, those are all the books that are on my TBR. And when I say that they're on my TBR, I don't mean that these are the only books that I'm going to be reading this year. Obviously, things are subject to change. However, these are the ones that I'm prioritizing. So there are other books that I'm currently reading. Currently I have 7 on the go, I think. These are just the ones that I want to give a good college try and see how things go. So that's my TBR for this year. I'm very excited. Lots of reading to come and lots of videos to come too. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, comment your most excited read, like the read that you're most excited to get to this year, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!